Welcome to Trigger Talk, your place for everything's first-person shooters like Battlefield, Call of Duty, and so much more. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sammy Boy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Ready to hop in and talk some more Battlefield 6. We're going to be talking about our experiences with the second week of the beta, what our thoughts are on the improvements that they made, some of the downsides that they've had. I also want to talk about the big hot topic of the Battlefield 6 industry right now, which is just the map sizes, and I have some stuff I want to get off my chest. So let's jump in. What'd you think of week 2?
I really enjoyed it again. I definitely think the addition of Rush wasn't as exciting as I was hoping for, so that kind of put
what have they done to my boy?
Yeah, I don't know. I do have some thoughts on it, but I also partly don't know what's wrong with it. So that was a bit of a bummer. It was like I had still some good games, so it wasn't like it was like, oh, this is terrible, never play that again. It's just not as... It maybe isn't what I remembered it to be, which also maybe is partly like my own expectation, but I think there's definitely some stuff that they can really improve on there. So that kind of put a dampener on it, because I was straight up like, all right, I've played Conquest and Breakthrough the whole previous weekend, and I genuinely clocked probably like 30 hours on that first weekend. I was playing it the whole time. So then I was like, all right, Rush is coming. I'm just literally only playing Rush this whole weekend. And then when I realized it sucked, I was like, oh, man. So, yeah, it was still, my opinion hasn't changed since the first week, but I think the first week was more enjoyable. It was like sheer enjoyment, whereas the second week was a bit more, still thoroughly enjoyed the game, but maybe a few things sort of set in where I was like, okay, this isn't perfect. There's still some little things that need to iron out, which isn't the biggest, that's always going to happen. Every game ever always has stuff that it can improve on. So I'm not concerned, but it was definitely it's mostly just a bit like, oh man, I was hoping it would be just as fun as the first week. And definitely. Also, I didn't play as much. I was away for the whole Saturday essentially and half of Sunday. So that's probably part of it too. I just didn't play it as much. But yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
I think so. Week 1 was really solid for me. I didn't have many issues with it and had a good time. Week 2 was, I don't know what they did on the back end, but it wasn't as solid for me. It took longer to get into modes, and I only saw the waiting screen like 3 times the first weekend, and I saw a lot more the second weekend. And I know there were more people in the first weekend than the second weekend. I also waited a lot longer to get into matches, not because of people not being in the lobbies. It just kind of took longer. So I find it so fascinating. The first week was so solid, even with so many people playing the game. The second week was just a little bit rough for me on that aspect. On the topic of Rush, I have a very different experience, because the games that I played felt just like normal Rush to me. I got lucky, and I'm one of the few people I'm going to recognize this that had this experience. I played attacking, and then I played defending, and then I played attacking, and then I played defending.
I'm so jealous.
On all of the games that I played, it happened like that. And then I go online, and it's like, I've only played defending, or I've only played attacking, and I'm like, oh. Yeah. Interesting. You know that the scene in Community when he walks in the room with pizza and everything's on fire? That was me checking how people are feeling about Battlefield 6. I do think that there are some things that they have to fix for Rush in this game. First of all of the attack points that they had are just terrible. I don't think they chose good locations for them. And the spawn points, I think, however the adaptive spawning is, it's terrible, because there were so many times where I would spawn in and then immediately die because of where that just automatically put me. So that part was rough.
That's one thing that I've actually noticed, even in the first weekend too, that I really hope to see changed, is that, remember, I feel like even 2042 had this, where if you die within 2 seconds of spawning, it just transports you straight back to spawn screen, and it doesn't actually like count as a death. It kind of like it puts you in, and then if you're instantly dead, it's like, oh, hang on, no, that doesn't count because you just spawned. So it's kind of our fault that it was a bad spawn. Here you go back to the deployment screen, and you don't have the timer. They seem to have taken that away in this, which is really frustrating because there's a lot of times, and to be fair, sometimes it's like, I guess you would say my fault. I've spawned on a teammate on like a flag, so I know it's going to be somewhat high traffic. But I'm literally, I've been on the screen for like, I don't know, like I've spawned for half a second and I'm dead. And it fully counts as a death. And I don't care about the stat side of it. It's more it's just annoying. Then I've got to go and like wait for the timer to count down again. Whereas in pretty much all of the previous games, if you died, I want to say it was maybe a 3-second buffer where if you spawn in and in that 3 seconds you die, it's like it just almost rewinds it and you just get to go back to where you were. And it's really frustrating that isn't in this because with how chaotic these maps are, a lot of times you are spawning and just dying immediately, and it's literally not your fault. I wouldn't spawn there if I knew I was going to die. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Like you have no control over it, so how are you going to be able to do anything about it?
And that's definitely one thing I've noticed too. Not just on squad spawns, but even sometimes like straight up just spawning on a flag, and I'm just in the line of sight of a sniper or something, and I'm dead, and I'm like, what the hell? And if it just took me back and I could spawn instantly, I don't think I'd care. I kind of laugh at that when that happens in like say Battlefield 5. You spawn and you immediately die. It's kind of funny because you just like, what the hell? And then you just spawn straight away. But when it actually affects you that you've got to then sit there for another 10 seconds and wait, and maybe they cap that flag in that time or whatever, it's like, it's so frustrating. So that's one thing that isn't exclusive to the second weekend. It's like the whole playtime I've sort of had an issue with that. And it's not only that, but like you said, the actual spawn points themselves are not fantastic sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, across the board, and like you said, also in the first weekend, was across the board on most of the maps. I feel like, and like I pretty much maybe 75% of my time in it was playing like the CQC playlist. I loved the close quarters combat modes in this game. Like it was everything that I want. It's like the destruction of a battlefield, the feel of a battlefield, but with that like really fun gameplay loop of objective capture and also like trying to get better at gunplay. I really enjoyed that. But even in a lot of those games, like, oh man, just respawning was brutal, and you never know what you're gonna get. So that part's a bit difficult. Trying to think of any other things that I ran into on Rush or anything else. I don't know what it is, but the large scale modes aren't kind of hitting it for me this time around, which I find interesting.
Really? I wonder if it's to do with the map design maybe, or if it's like, I mean, yeah, the thing with the smaller modes is that I think if you just enjoy that more, it probably does feel very unenjoyable going to like the bigger modes, because
it's hard for me to play because like in the big modes, I like to be the objective player. And it's really hard to do that. I also think that a lot of the people playing the game aren't really good at support roles.
Yeah.
And it's hard to rely on. This is another reason that I personally prefer the locked weaponry, or as I would say, traditional Battlefield experience, that I think they should change the name of. Instead of like open and locked weapons, it's like
it
classic Battlefield and new Battlefield should be the names, not this one sucks and it's locked. How about you play open? Like that's what it seems like. But I can't rely on any of the support people because they're just playing it for the health and like refresh aspect of like the class rather than the motivator of being the support class. So there's so many times like, oh, there's a support 5 meters from you, and it's like 5, 7, 8,
so
5.
frustrating.
Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes with, and like my thing is that I think that's just players, man. It's even in the old ones that used to happen to me all the time. Like, what do you do if you're playing medic, bro? What are you doing? Like, I'm down 1 meter away from you, in front of you. You're literally looking at my big ass radical thing, saying, like, please revive me. The character's yelling out, please, medic, help me, and they just it's like so annoying. That's one thing that has always. And like, there's some times where it's like fair, where it's like, because I'll play a medic and I'm one of those dudes who tries my hardest to revive everyone, but like there's times I just don't see him or whatever. So it's not. Sometimes you get it, but it's like, man, that's one thing that I don't think they can fix that. Unfortunately, I think that's just people just. I don't know. A lot of people just have zero awareness, and also like, as much as it really annoys me, and I have words for those people. I also can't. At the end of the day, people play games to have fun. If you're having fun running around shooting people and you don't care about reviving, like I can't. It's not a real war. Do you know what I mean? I can't get too mad about it. So it's like, if someone's having fun shooting enemies, they don't care about anything else. That's fair. But it is so frustrating, man. When it's like, for me, I'm out there throwing my body on people can revive them, and just half the time I literally will throw down smoke and know that I'm certainly dying, but I want to revive that teammate. And it's probably not the smartest move, but it's just, I don't know, I get such satisfaction from just getting the boys up and about. So
yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one thing that does very much annoy me. And yeah, I always have toyed with the class system, like, oh, what could they do to change that? And would open weapons fix that or make it worse or what? I just think people just like have zero awareness, unfortunately.
On that note, I still struggle with identifying who's on my team.
I've gotten a bit better at it, but I definitely I've still been shooting teammates, which is really annoying.
And hopefully they fix that for the full game. We'll see. I don't put a lot of stock into the quality of like the user interface, user experience side of DICE. And that, I don't think that's necessarily to the individuals themselves. I just don't know if they have the good direction that they need to really pull that off. Because like there's been consistently problems that I've experienced with like identifying where things are. And I feel like the information density is just kind of a little bit all over the place. I also don't think they prioritize the information that should be prioritized. So hopefully that gets adjusted. Menus, I like the look of the menus, but I do find it very frustrating that as soon as I boot up the game, I have to take three, I have to go down, I have to go down one more time, and then I have to go right to select anything. Like,
it off my screen immediately.
Why is this so freaking difficult to hop into a game?
That change, which I will attribute this to Call of Duty, that is the worst thing to happen to gaming in 5 years, in my opinion.
I will say Call of Duty's is much easier to go through that process for. Like,
it is easier, but it's still it's
still frustrating.
Yeah, I was playing Warzone the other day, and I'm like looking at the COD HQ screen where it says like all games, and you go, it's like
I hate that so much. Why?
So annoying. I'm loading up Warzone. Put me in freaking Warzone. I do not care about the last 7 Call of Duties, mate. Just put me in Warzone. It's so annoying, and the fact that it's made its way to battle. I mean, it kind of was already in 2042, but maybe not as bad. Now it's like the full on. It is just Netflix. You just scroll down to your, like, I guess, area of the menu, then you scroll through the modes. As delete and start again, please. It's so bad. I hate it. The amount of times where I was trying to find a game, right, and it was annoying me because it has below the modes, it has like the training area where it just shows the videos.
Yeah, so, you always overshoot and you go down there because that's like,
and it says Conquest 101 and Breakthrough 101. And if you're not actually reading that, if you just quickly glance at it, it just looks like it says Conquest. Yeah. So I'm scrolling, I'm trying to get through this dumbass menu, and then I click that. and now it's playing a video, which I don't know if you realize, you cannot exit the video once you've started playing it. So it happened twice, I think, where I clicked on it and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to sit here and watch this introduction to Conquest. I know how to play Conquest. Let me freaking search for a game, dude. So annoying. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I literally, I was so mad. Get the Netflix shit off my screen immediately. It actually angers me. It makes me irrationally angry.
It's so stupid. The whole density of information on that screen is terrible. I don't want to be feeling like Netflix when I'm hopping into a game, but also if I'm completely dependent on how you categorize information on this thing, I want it to be better. Because right now, if I want to play a specific mode, it's just, you have to go to the search, which is, let's talk about that now. The whole custom search mode thing, kind of ass.
Yeah, that would be putting it lightly. It's
I think that's the first time I've used the word ass on this podcast in 3 years.
It's in theory. Okay, so here's my I
can't see you, but I can hear the thought process of you trying to
was rubbing my head as I said that. I'm like, what? How do I word this? So my first. As soon as they added that, right, I was like, sick. I'm going to try that, and I'm going to just pick the maps.
I remember we were like, let's give this the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Let's wait till we see it and see.
And I searched, right, and I searched for only Breakthrough and Rush on only Empire State, because I was like, all right, I've played all the other maps, and that's the only one that I played it in LA, but I played 2 games. So it's like, I just want to play that. So I did that, right, on Breakthrough and Rush. So that's not just one mode, it's 2. This was peak time in Australia also. And it was searching for about 3 minutes, and then it put me into Liberation Peak. And I'm like, bruh, I just obviously
this is exactly how it feels to give DICE feedback. They're like, hey, we're like, hey, do this, and they're like, no, how about this?
How about, I know you would like Empire State, but I have an offer. What if we put you on Liberation Peak instead? No thanks, I would like to choose the map. I would like to play the map that I chose. It was so frustrating, man, and it added so much to the search times,
oh my gosh,
if it's going to work perfectly,
because they don't have persistent servers, so you can't just go down a list. It's like, let me just see if there's anything going on now.
That's just so annoying. They don't seem to understand the server browser thing, and it's like, I don't know how many times, it's not just me, it's literally everyone spelling it out for you, this and this are the reasons why we want it. You counter with this and this, but we counter with, no, those things do not fix the problems. And they keep being like, oh, well, we think this is best of both worlds. No, it's not. It's the best of your world because it's what you want. We just want a server browser. It's worked in all the previous games. I do understand that there is extra cost of having permanent servers. Let us pay for the servers like it used to be. They have the official DICE servers, and then they have the community run servers. You can still then have your portal servers that aren't persistent, and they just, when someone spins it
their
up,
whole thing fine. Is oh, if you want to have that, go to Portal, which just means that you can
I can run.
They're still on that cost. Server. It's just a second step, and we're frustrated because they're like, look at Portal. It's like, how about you put it in the game and make the game good? And they're like, but Portal is here. It's like, I don't want to play Battlefield 6 Portal. I want to play Battlefield 6.
Yeah, it's, man, I don't know. That's one thing that I just don't think they'll ever get it, which is baffling because they always did get it and it always worked perfectly. And I always used to play Battlefield and go, why the hell doesn't Call of Duty and these other games have this? This is great. Server browser was elite. And now they're they do not seem to understand why it was good. It literally is not only every single reason it's good, but most importantly for the community, that is crucial, and this is such a community game. I don't really know if there's many other shooters out there that are such a community driven game like Battlefield. Like Call of Duty's not a community game. It's just a bunch of NPCs.
You hop on that with friends that you already know.
Yeah.
Battlefield is known for you make friends while playing Battlefield.
Yeah. Like you get in the squad and you get those teammates who are actually reviving and they're throwing down smoke and you're all working as a team. And you go, oh man, I want to add that guy as a friend. And then you play a bunch of times and eventually you go, oh, we should jump into voice chat and start playing, start actually chatting while we're playing. That's how people make friends. That does not happen in Call of Duty. Maybe back in the day, but even then it was like banter. It was just people roasting each other in the lobby. It wasn't actual like people making friends as much. And again, that was mostly people who were already friends. Battlefield is just like known for that, and it's why the community is so tight knit, because in the past that's how so many people know each other in that community. And so the fact that they're not like seeing that it's so frustrating, man. It like actually really, really annoys me. Like that's probably the number one thing over the last, really since 2042, the number one thing that has annoyed me is the lack of the server browser and them not understanding it, because it comes from Battlefront 2 as well. I've got prior PTSD because that game, obviously the resurgence now has sort of fixed it, but like for a long time there, I could not play Battlefront. I couldn't get into games. It didn't work. That is a AAA Star Wars game, a huge game. I could not find lobbies. Like, it actually breaks the game for people in small population regions. So it's like, how they don't get that is truly baffling to me, because they constantly ask for feedback and ask us, like, why do you want it? And we literally spell it out, and they're like, oh, okay, we understand. We're going to not do that, though. Like,
it's the Patrick SpongeBob meme where it's like, okay, walking through this. And it's like, yep, walking through this. Yep, And it gets to the end, and they're like, nope.
Yeah. Legit. It's so frustrating, man.
Yeah. I think if they had persistent servers, I think is like, even if we don't necessarily have, like, I personally really want a server browser. And I think that would be great. I want to be more in control of the experience within Battlefield. But I think like more important to the idea of like having a like community and building that friendship aspect, like you have to have persistent servers. They also need better server management for like, I don't know if all of the people that work on Battlefield 6 are just very lonely people. Maybe it's true because they're in Sweden. And they're like, just huddled in underneath their like sunlight lamp or whatever. People have more than 3 friends, and it's kind of great when you can have more than your 3 friends in the same lobby as you. Be great to be able to manage it to where you can all be on the same team. But like having this whole experience, and this was terrible in Battlefield 2042, and the fix that they made, still terrible. Like I loved it in Battlefront 2015 and even Battlefront 2. Like you could get 8 people, 10 people into a party, and you can just go into a game. This one, it's like, okay, no, 2 of those people are going to be over here, and they're going to be in this server, and then this one's going to be over here, and none of them are going to be able to play with each other, even if you're in the same quote-unquote squad. Like, why does it have to be this way?
Yeah, I wonder if it's down to, like, they're scared about, like, the team balancing side of it, which I guess at face value I understand, but it's like...
But if someone comes in with a party of, like, 12 people, you should be able to weight that search differently. Put that team into a server first, and then base the rest of it off of that. Rather, like, I mean, this was the same problem that we had previously when you can have 12 people into a party. Like... It's one of those things that I think you should be empowered to do, and they're just like, how can you have more than 3 friends?
Yeah, that's one thing that... It's funny that I just said about how Battlefront didn't have the server browser and it was such an issue, but the 2 things you just said, the persistent servers and that ability to get... Like, I used to stream and we'd have a 20 stack, like a whole movie was just
so fun.
Me and my boys, and we literally never lost games, but it's still fun. I know to the other team losing, that happens without stacks. Like that happened. Teams just get rolled sometimes. So I don't see it as an issue. And like you said, if it's It's maybe different if it's a whole 32 man squad. That's different. But if it's like 16, if it's 4 squads, just put the good. That's where like skill based matchmaking can come into play. Where get them into the lobby and then put all of the good players who are just single players on the other team and just balance it out that way, because that already happens. Like team balancing is already a thing.
You can make some assumptions if a big group of people are attached to a single party. Like, you have the information that they're all in a party together. Like, use it.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing that just, it does feel like they've gone away a little bit from that community feeling, because I used to do that in Battlefield 5 as well. We would stream and get like probably 8 to 12 people, and we'd just all be in a squad, and then it would load you in and it would just automatically filter you into 3 different squads. And it was also just fun, like seeing who ended up in whose squad, and we would roll around and have like that worked so well. And I don't know why they would remove that. Those are the key elements that should never be touched, in my opinion. The server browser, the whole like squatting up management and stuff. Get it right, and then literally never change it, because that is what has made the franchise what it is. And especially with this one looking like it's going to be so big as well. Like, there's going to be so many new people. They want to make friends. I want people to have that experience that we had in Battlefield 3 and 4 days, where like I was a youngster, I was playing, and I would make friends with people in games. I might have never even spoken to them, but you just add them, and then that person knows, I know that guy was in my squad. And then I'm playing one day and he invites me and we jump in. We never speak, but I still remember some of those people's names that I used to play with that I never spoke a word to, and you still have that like camaraderie in a game where we join up and I just know that guy's good and I know he's going to play his role properly, and we just have fun. Like, that is what, in those early days, that's what made Battlefield for me. And I want all these new people come to the game, I want them to experience that too, but they're making it really hard with these, like, essentially all of the matchmaking stuff is just making it so hard.
The internet and gaming experience that we all grew up with is slowly, or not even slowly, rapidly dying. And a lot of it is because of this like optimization of like monetization, which is quite frustrating. I just think it would be so much better if we had like persistent servers and a path forward of this experience. And maybe, wild idea here, a server browser would be crazy, and one that does not freaking... The amount of, like, I was so hyped around Portal. I thought it was really cool. And, like, the longer it's been going on, the more frustrating it's been in terms of, like, its perspective of giving DICE this, like, get-out-of-jail-free card for all of these things. It's like, can we just literally just make a good game here? Like, why does it have to be this way?
Portal should just be a mode creator. It shouldn't have anything to do with the matchmaking.
Yeah, make it Forge.
Yeah, it should just be you make your modes in there, and then there's just a server browser, and it just has official or Portal. Or like official, community, and Portal. So the community servers are official rule sets and stuff, but you know, it's my server, I own it or whatever. The official ones are official DICE servers, and then Portal is like some wacky ass mode, and that's what Portal should be. It shouldn't have. That's where the lines get blurred with.
Yeah. Well, it's the
some
same
people
thing
are
with
going to
like
have a
them
server that
adding
is just official
older
rules.
maps.
Yeah.
Like, we all wanted them to like do the like Call of Duty, which was, okay, you've got a map that you really want. Okay, let's give it to you, and everyone can play on it. And they're like, well, all the old maps you can only get on Portal to start. And it's like, seriously? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you take an expectation of like traditional FPS gaming of like, we're going to re-add Nuketown to Call of Duty and optimize it for this new experience, and you get to have new Call of Duty on something that feels and looks familiar. And then it's like in Battlefield 2042, it's like, actually, we're going to have this like retro mode, and it's going to have the like gameplay of 2042, but it's going to be on this old map and it's going to only be in Portal. And also, we're not going to have persistent servers, and we're also not going to have a server browser. We're also not going to have a scoreboard and like all these things. And like, why are you leaning so heavily on Portal when you can just add it to the main game?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think they've sort of figured that out, because obviously now we're getting Firestorm in the base game. So I'd hope that all the maps they add, like Operation Firestorm, are going to be just in the actual mode. I wonder if the reservation behind that in 2042 was because it was 128 players at the start, and some of those maps wouldn't work. So as much as I still was kind of confused by it, I sort of understand it, but now I think there's no excuse. I think that they can just add any map from the past into the main game, and like that's what I mean about Portal. There should be zero Portal exclusive content. It should just be the modes that you can make. So putting, like we saw in the trailer, where there's the big like ramp and there's a bus or something rolling down it. That is obviously exclusive to Portal. That doesn't happen in the real game. But the guns that you can use in Portal shouldn't be like excluded from the main game. That's, now that I think of it, like that is wild that 2042 had a handful of guns that we were crying out, by the way, about like a lack of weapons. The main game had, I think, 22 at launch, but then there was Portal guns. And it's like, why are they not in the main game? Like, it's kind of insane. And it's the same with maps. So, yeah, to me, Portal should just be essentially
Portal
Halo
should
Forge.
be Forge. Yeah.
And it's just,
and
it's
you
just
get to do
creator.
the crazy things. You get to like make the different game modes and make the different maps and have like the online progression thing, and then have, we're gonna add a locker room, hopefully, or like we're gonna add all of the like Metro, and like we're gonna add these maps that are known and loved within the community, remake them, remaster them, and have them in the main game. Like that's the formula we want. We want new maps, we want old maps, we want a mix of all that content, and we want it to be consistent across the game. Like it's so frustrating.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that I think just confuses people with Portal, is that like if I go into Portal and I make an official rule set game, but I just remove, okay, the shotgun has been broken in the beta, right? So I just remove the shotgun, but everything else is exactly the same as the main game. And that is now just in the, if they added a server browser, which like Portal, we know that they're going to have the Portal one.
Mm-hmm.
And so that my server just comes under like some random ass Portal community server. Everyone, like, it's just confusing. Do you know what I mean? People are going to look at that and go, is this an official server? It's got the official rule set, but then there's no shotgun. Like, just have official servers like they've always had, that are just the official, no guns are removed, no maps are removed. It's just Conquest 24/7 or whatever. You have those official ones. You then have the community run servers that like, exactly like they were in Battlefield 4, where it's very clear when you go through the server browser, it says like Australian Conquest server with the rule set and all that. So then people know, if they're clicking on that, they know there's going to be maybe some changes, but you know that ahead of time. And then you have your Portal servers that has like in brackets Portal, where you know you're joining that and it's going to be some absolutely wild like speed running mode or something. Like, that's how it should be. I don't see any other alternative that makes more sense than that. And I don't get why that isn't the first thing that they go to. Because I think that without the official servers, if you go to the server browser, you don't know what is legitimate and not. I looked at the Portal server all the time in 2042, and I just often was like, what the hell am I even looking at? Because people don't title their stuff properly. So it's like,
well, that's always been like my thoughts on the the reliance on Portal is like, if I want to have rush and I just want to play a default mode, like if I get in and it's only shotguns, or like it's only snipers, or it's only on this map, or like, that's where I hate this lack of server browser. Because if it's an official server and I can go through that list and say, oh look, here's my favorite game mode and my favorite map, maybe the ping's a little high, but I'll suffer through it, or I just want one with the least amount of latency, okay, I'm gonna go to that one. Like, it gives me the ability and the empowerment of, like, I can choose what kind of experience within Battlefield that I want to play. And then if you just rely on Portal, you don't have any of that unless you create your own server. And then, like, are you really guaranteed people to play with, or are you just going to be playing with bots? Because if I'm just going to be playing with bots, I don't really want to play. I want to play with real people. So again, it's like all these different things that have to be considered, and I don't think they've considered any of them.
Yeah, that's the thing with Portal that sort of baffles me, is that they think that, like, you just spin up a server and it's just going to be full. Like, that doesn't happen. That never happens. Maybe in like America, I don't know what it's like over there. In Australia, if I made a Portal server right now on 2042, there'll be 0 players in it. Maybe I'll get a few stragglers throughout the day. It just doesn't happen. Like, so how they think that fixes everything, where it's like, oh, well, if you don't like the official rule set, like, you can make your own server. No, I can't. I'm playing against bots. That's not the same thing. Like, that's why the official servers are so important, because I know I can just click. It's just carefree. It's like they want the quick play button, which is fine to have, by the way, if there's a server browser. The good thing about the quick play button, or just like search for Conquest in general, is you just click play and it will do the work for you. It's kind of the same in the official servers in the server browser. Is I just see them at the top. I know that they're full, and I know that there's no issues. They've taken snipers out or whatever. I just click it and I'm carefree. I'm into a game. This is great. I'm playing Battlefield. That's why it's so good, and it is the best of both worlds when you've got that flexibility between the official servers and the community run servers. But the other thing with the official servers, I do find it weird if they're not persistent. So I'm going in the server browser, I click on a server, I join maybe halfway through, that game ends. Do I then have to go back to the server browser? Or am I just put into the next? Like, that's the thing with the persistent. That's where this all gels together. It's like a symbiotic relationship that worked perfectly in the past. And now they're trying to, like, take little bits away from it, which kind of ruins the whole thing. Like, because there is going to be a server browser in Battlefield 6. They've said that. It will have official playlists in it. But is it going to work how it should? Because there isn't persistent servers. I don't know if it will. I don't know if we'll be in the same lobby. I've just experienced it with the beta, where I know you saw my tweet. I was literally playing for nearly 4 hours straight on the final day. I cleared that day anyway, because I hadn't been able to play for the weekend. So I was like, all right, Monday it's the final day. I'm going to be playing anyway. But then I was sitting there and I looked at the challenges and I'm like, all right, well, I've got 4 or 5 hours left. I'll easily get these done. It took me till legitimately the last like half an hour to get the final challenge done, because I was on the defending team. For this is not an exaggeration at all. I probably have video evidence of this by timestamps. That for 3 straight hours I was playing defense only. I did not get one attacking game until I eventually got it at the end, but I did that by just eventually backing out. I had to back out, search again, not defending, back out, search again, defending, over and over until I eventually got attacking, which is just so dumb. It should just be attacking, defending, which is pretty much guaranteed with persistent servers. But when you're re-spinning up the server every time, it is just random choice at that point. So yeah, that's one of my main concerns and issues. Really, is just all around the matchmaking at the moment, the really annoying part for me is it's just the most simple fix. Just my brother in Christ put a freaking server browser in there with persistent servers and it's fixed. No one complains after that. I don't know why they like. It's like they're searching for answers, or they clearly. It's not that they're searching; they just don't want to hear the answer. But that is the answer. Fixes literally everything. I know it might cost you a bit more money. Oh, poor EA, you don't have enough money. Oh, like you're gonna make so much money from this game. They want 100 million players. Well, this is gonna make those people stick around a lot more than if we're getting really by how annoying the matchmaking is. So yeah, to me that's probably, it will always be. I'll complain about this every week until they do it. I've been doing it all through Battlefront 2. I've been doing YouTube, man, for like 7-8 years now, and I've just been saying this the whole time. Like, I reckon once a month I talk about server browser, and it just hasn't happened. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous too, because it's like we've had this experience. Like you can go back into like all of this data and see all of these things, and you're just like ignoring it. Come on, it's quite frustrating. Another hot topic in the community, though, switching gears, I want to talk about the maps, because there's a lot of revisionist history going on of like, oh my gosh, these maps are too small, and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 didn't have this too like small maps, and also like you could play more vehicles on these Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 maps.
Yeah.
Shut up. Now, first of all of those statements are wrong, because I just saw Nick
I saw that.
930 or what, I can never remember the numbers on his.
I think it's Nick 930.
He was like comparing the maps released in Battlefield 6, or the ones that we know about, and Battlefield 3. And like you actually like the amount of vehicle spread and vehicle like capability on those maps versus Battlefield 3, they're basically the same. So that's false. Second of all, like we had massive maps and they were so freaking boring. And now that we have like smaller maps that are still like quite large in terms of other multiplayer shooters, like everyone's complaining. Like I'm in heaven here. I am thriving with the maps that we're getting, because first of all, like I'm not necessarily vibing on like the big scale modes. Like I enjoyed them, but like I didn't enjoy them as much as the small scale modes, because they utilize the space so well. But like even on Conquest and Breakthrough, like I was having a great time, and because of like the I saw this one video is complaining about having like the 3 different aisles. It's like all of the good maps that we historically call back to in all of our first-person shooter nostalgia of past games, like have the 3-aisle gameplay map layout. Yeah. Because it's good. It gives you some expectations that you can rely on in the gameplay. I don't know what's going on, but like we went like I saw this video and someone was talking about how they miss the openness of 2042, and I'm like,
please no.
Do you not remember anything about 2042? Like I hated all of the map layout because they were so open. It's like it's giving us a sandbox. I'm like, no, it's not. It's giving you pain and sadness. You've experienced 2 weekends of playing Battlefield 6 on maps that are just like properly scaled for this type of experience, and you're like, man, I kind of wish it was just a little bit bigger. But it's like, come on. We had Battlefield 5 with some of the biggest maps, and we had Battlefield 2042 with the biggest maps in Battlefield history, and like we can be fine to have small maps again. Like it's okay.
Yeah, I think that I've even had my own like discussions about that on my channel, but I think it's been like so overblown how much people are talking about it, to where it's like it's like they're saying like, no, go back, like, which is, please no, don't go back.
Yeah.
We don't want that. But ironically, when they say please go back, this is going back. This is what Battlefield 3 and 4 were like.
Yeah.
The ones we've seen in the beta for sure are the smaller maps in the game. They've even stated that these are the smaller ones. So it's maybe not a great example of like what the full game will be like. There will be bigger maps. We know, we've played Operation Firestorm. That is a pretty damn big map. And then it seems like that Mira Valley map is going to be a lot bigger as well. So, yeah, I think I sort of get what... I do think that there are times when it does feel a bit chaotic, but I don't necessarily... I want a couple big maps to just give us a change up. I don't want all big maps. That's the thing for me. It's like, give me Operation Firestorm, Mira Valley, and maybe like one extra. And then we've got 6 like smaller maps and 3 bigger maps. Like, that's a good balance to me. That's how it used to be. When you actually look at Battlefield 3, like, that had a lot of small maps, and then it had like your Caspian border and stuff that were bigger. And that's ironically, Caspian border is one of my favorite maps in Battlefield history. But if every map was like that, I don't think I'd enjoy it. But in that game, it was like cool because it was like all the other ones were chaos, and that one was just a bit different. And I really enjoyed that I could play a bit slower and I could snipe, and it was just different. If every map's like that, that's not enjoyable. That's been the issue with 2042, and even Battlefield 5, I think, had too many big maps as well. It's not even about the scale either. It's about the actual layout and the flow of the map. What you just mentioned about like having a 3-lane system, that has proven time and time again to work in every shooter. Doesn't matter how big or small the map is. The 3-lane layout is goated. You've got your middle lane that is like that's where the battle takes place, right? And you've got your C flag in the middle, and like A and E are sort of at the end of that, and so it's like a big tug of war between that middle section. But you've got your outside lanes that allow for flanking. Obviously, it's not just 3 actual lanes. You usually have a bit of like your extra little
There's some spread,
doorways and
points.
stuff. Yeah. And it's just proven that works. And ironically, just look at even like Siege of Cairo, right? That map is instantly better than every single map in 2042, in my opinion. And it's got 3 lanes. It's got your center area with the broken down bus, and ironically, it's almost like 3x3 lanes because it actually kind of goes each direction. There's like that street is almost facing the wrong direction in a way, but I look at it as the C flag going between the 2 other ends is the middle lane. Then you've got your outside lanes, which again are actually not in the right layout with the streets. So it almost is a 3x3 like cube system. It's really weird. It's hard to explain, but it works so well because if they're just holding down the middle of the map, I know that I can flank. Even the flanks might be covered, but I know that I can still have the chance to flank, and I know that there's enough of those little like extra little doorways and stuff to get through. That if I try to flank all the way on the left, but they're covering that, I can try a different, I can still go on that left lane, but there's like a different way that I can try. And I just think that map alone proves that 3-lane system is the GOAT. Like, I've been saying that for years with Call of Duty. That's why they suck now, because the maps are not designed like that.
Yeah. And
so I think every single map ever should be, you have some variety to it. It doesn't need to be exactly just 3 perfect lanes. That's not like how it should be done. But I think having that as your basis when you're designing a map has got to be the best way to do it, because it's been proven for like multiple decades now. Essentially, you look back to like Unreal Tournament and games like that. Yeah, they had the exact same map layouts, and it's always worked. And when games go away from that, they generally result in the maps that we all think suck. And it's not just coincidence; it's because that is proven to work.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of revisionist history going on here. I think it's not necessarily the size of the maps, and I don't think it's necessarily like the lane system of like having 3 lanes. I think a lot of the issues people are having is the respawns are wonky, and the capture points I think are in bad locations. I think like across the board, Siege of Cairo I think is decent, but I think across the board they need to be like worked on in terms of where things are. I think that's the most frustrating aspect of the map layout, is like where the capture points are.
I'd agree with that. I think all of them, like you said, Siege of Cairo, I don't really have any issues with the layout of that map. I think though with the rest of them, I'm looking at like Empire State, and it's got the D flag like up on a weird...
Dude,
it's like up the steps instead of just
Empire
being that
State
whole
map
area.
is brutal in terms of where everything is. Like, good gosh.
It actually took me a few times to like know where the flags even were, because the C flag I assumed was actually in the central building, but it's actually underneath that bridge. So I was like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think that flag's fine now that I got used to it. But there's some of the other ones, like the one on the basketball court. Like I don't know, they're maybe a little bit too close to the edges of the map is my only complaint. Having them, it's almost like they're the very corners of the map, which I don't think is yeah. This is real nitpicking because, to be honest, these are some of the best maps we've had in Battlefield in a long time. So it's not me saying like, oh, they suck. I think it's more just, I do agree with that some of the flag layouts are a bit weird. I think Liberation Peak as well is, I don't know. I'm really hit and miss on that map. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes it's probably my favorite map, and then sometimes I do think that the layout is it's just a bit too skinny at times. And that C flag is just so powerful. It's like, if you have that, you win the game. There's no way. If you have a team that defends that, like unless they're just literally not doing anything else, and you've got all the other flags, like if the enemy team's defending that and they have 2 other flags, there's no way you win. Like, so yeah, I do agree with that. I think some of the layouts are a bit odd. My thing is, I don't really know how you would fix them. I don't think that. Yeah, I look at Liberation Peak, and the easy answer is to make it wider, sort of thing. But
yeah,
that's also part of the charm of that map. I actually don't hate that it's a bit skinnier. That's happened in previous games, and some of those maps. Look at like Sinai Desert. That was pretty much the same, and instead of it being skinny, it was just that there was a whole last desert which no one went in. So it's a pretty similar layout to that, really, and that's one of my favorite maps. So. Yeah, it's weird. I think that's sometimes the charm to a good Battlefield map is that they are strange, a bit different.
Well,
so I
like
don't really have a
you want
complaint
to
with them.
like you said earlier, like they need to be unique, and I think they should go heavily on the smaller stuff, like the smaller scale maps this time around, and have like a couple big maps, which seems like that's what we're going to be getting. And I think if you're complaining about the maps, and I think mostly you're forgetting about, like, we've had enough time away from things. I mean, Battlefield 1 came out like close to 10 years ago. And it's been like, we're probably nearing freaking 20 years from Battlefield 3 or whatever.
Yeah, that was what, 20... I don't know when, 2009 or 10 maybe 11. It was like 15
2011,
years.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we're not too far. We're 6 years away from that being 20 years old, right?
That's mad. That makes me feel super, super old. Like, the other ones, like Battlefield 1 being 10 years old, I can stomach that, but Battlefield 3 being 6 years away from 2 decades is actually absurd.
Yeah, rough. That hurt. Like the experiences that people are kind of like putting up on a pedestal are very different from reality, and I think this is a good foundation in terms of like the map sizes. I would much rather a map be too small and there be too much action going on than the reverse. And I think the intention that they did of like, let's make good small to medium size maps and like really focus on that, and then like slightly expand them for like breakthrough and conquest. I think that is a better path forward than what they previously did, which was let's make a big map and then like cut slices out of it. And I think this focus is much better overall than I think the previous games.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's easier to like. I mean, I don't know. I don't design maps, but I feel like it's easier to make a smaller map good than it's very rare you see a really good big map. How many in Battlefield history, maybe excluding like Battlefield 1, because that had a lot of maps that were big and really good, but I think that was also due to like the World War One nature, where there was a lot of maps that didn't really have buildings and stuff, but it was fine because it was World War One. It was like a archaic feeling game, so I think that made it better. But like, you look back to Battlefield 3 and 4, and most of them were smaller maps. I feel like it's just easier to condense everything and make it more enjoyable, because it just means you're in the fight more often. And that, to me, that's pretty much like, that borderline is the majority of what makes a game fun to me, is the more time I spend in the chaos or in the action, the more fun I'm going to have. If the issue with 2042 maps is like, in a gunfight, I'm having fun. I have no issues with the gunplay and stuff in that game. The specialists and, grapple hooking and all that stuff, I have issues with that, but like, it's still fun. The gunfights are fun, but running for freaking 3 minutes to get to it isn't fun. I don't want to do that. That's my issue with those maps, is not the actual, some of the points of interest are actually fine. Like, I actually really like a lot of those maps if you condense them, but yeah, I just think having those big open areas, it just doesn't work, man. I don't know. It was the same in Battlefield 5. This isn't just a 2042 slander thing that I have with the maps. Like, I really liked Battlefield 5. It had a lot wrong with it and it didn't launch well, but I really liked it by the end. And I have some of my fondest memories probably with Battlefield 5. But that had so many maps where I'm like I remember Panzerstorm. Like, what the hell was that map? It was just like a field. Like, what are we doing? There was like 3 buildings on a whole last breakthrough map. So, like, I don't know. I just think having it smaller and more condensed just almost instantly fixes a lot of the issues, because it might still not be the best map, but people are in the battle and it like distracts you from the issues, I guess. You're just in the fight and it's more enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I think they're in a good place currently. I also think that they're going in a good direction. Just to close this out, what are your thoughts on them like slowing down the movement? That was the thing that got announced today, that they're adjusting like the movement maxing of this game. It seems to be being adjusted.
So I've seen genuine meltdowns on Twitter about it from a lot of the really good players, and to me, I just think people are. I'll be honest, the Battlefield community is full of drama queens, man. There's a lot of people that's like, the games, they're killing the game. Like, this will not affect anything whatsoever, in my opinion. They've literally said they're just slowing the momentum so that essentially when you're like jumping into a slide, into a jump, you'll just be slightly slower. That will not affect anything. Yeah. They're not like putting concrete boots on our characters. Like, I think people just overplay everything so much. Kind of gets pretty tiring, honestly. I'll go on Twitter and it's like, we're finally in a positive era for Battlefield, and now I just see people I see genuine meltdowns. Like, people going, this is going to kill the game. Like, what are you talking about, man? This won't affect the game by 1%, I don't reckon. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I don't think it needed change. I agree with that. I think it was fine, personally, but I think this is mostly...
I personally liked it.
Yeah, I think there was like some bug-related issues where I did see some people like hooning around, just like bouncing off stuff. So I don't know if it's maybe to fix the unintended stuff out there. And I will say also, I had times where I was like bouncing off like a little rock. I would just walk over it and my character would kind of like jump in the air like a couple meters, and it was a bit annoying. Little things like that for sure need to be changed. But outside of that, I think it was... I had no issues with it. But also... So that's the other thing. This is not me just saying those people are melting down over nothing. I agree that they didn't even need to change it. So I'm like on their side. But people are massively overreacting. I think we won't even feel the difference. I think it'll just be... You can't run around like slide cancelling anymore, which you couldn't really even do anyway. But
Yeah. I tried.
I still am in the habit of doing it from 2042 where you do. It's not really a slide cancel like Warzone, but it's like, I think you jump, you sprint, then you jump, then as you land, you hit the slide to keep the momentum, and then you jump out of the slide with a double jump, I think. I think that's the like method that you can, it just allows you to move a little bit more freely, and it still sort of works in this, but it's not, I don't think it's overpowered at all. I don't know why people have an issue with that sort of movement tech where it's, I don't know, that's not going to get me a kill in a gunfight. Usually if I'm doing that, I'm not, at least for me, I'm not smart enough to be doing all that movement and then also aiming at the enemy and shooting them. Usually it's just to get around the map quicker. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how it feels in the full game. If it does actually feel different, then maybe I'll have an issue with it because I don't want it changed. But
yeah, I thought it was somewhat slow in the game. Personally, and that's going from Black Ops 6 obviously to this game.
Yeah, true.
But I personally thought it was too slow. But clearly, all of the veteran Battlefield players were like, oh my gosh, that's so quick! Whoa!
I think where the only people this affects is those genuine like speed demon players who just sprint around like actual like they've had 5 monsters and they're just doing backflips and stuff. That will probably affect them.
They should be checked. I think.
Yeah, I think
if we hurt them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think there's no. I've always thought that about COD as well. Like I don't see why people even do that. It literally doesn't make you better. You just look like you're on crack when you're doing it. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I think 99.9% of the player base will not even notice the changes, and there might be those essentially 10 people in the world who are like, oh, they ruined my little bunny hop thing that I did. It's still gonna be like, I think those people complain because they think it's like lowering the skill gap sort of thing, but the good players will still dominate, man. That's just how it has always been. If you're good, you will still do well. This is not going to make you bad. So that's pretty much my take on it. I thought it was fine. I didn't need changes, but the changes they've said don't concern me at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, I was fine with it initially. I'll be fine with it after it changes. We won't know until the game launches, and by that time we'll probably have forgotten exactly how it feels. And overall, I think it's fine. I personally thought the game in the open beta was a little bit on the slow side. Again, that's comparing it to Black Ops 6, which is it's a different comparison. That game is very quick. I personally love the Omni movement. One of the frustrations I had with Battlefield 6's open beta was I didn't feel like there was a good kind of like transition from like running / standing to being completely prone or sliding. I thought it was a little bit clunky, but again, coming from Battlefield or from Black Ops 6, different game, different comparison, different kind of like format there. So I'm fine if Battlefield wants to make itself a little bit different in that way. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna crash out about it.
Yeah, that was the first thing I read this morning, and I was like, oh my god, people full crashing out about it, like as if it's. I saw people saying, I saw genuinely multiple tweets that were like, oh, this will kill the game. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? It's not going to make any difference. I don't know if people do that as like actual rage bait, and I'm being rage baited, or if that's like people's actual opinion or what. If that's someone's true opinion, if you truly feel that, I would advise you to seek help immediately because it's not that deep. It seriously is not that deep.
Yep. 100% agree on all accounts there. Yeah. But with that, let us know your thoughts on the Battlefield 6 second week of the open beta. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What do you think about the map sizes? What do you think about the gameplay feel, movement, all of that fun stuff? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or contact at uplinkedpodcast.com if you're listening to this wherever you find podcasts. As always, check out Sammy Boy's YouTube channel. He's got some great content up there. If you're into Star Wars, check out Star Wars Uplink. And as always, we'll see you later, video gamers.